I'm John from PGP Wedding Films, and welcome to Say Yes to the Best, where we talk to the best wedding pros to give you wedding planning advice. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We have new content out all the time to help you with your wedding planning. Today, I'm talking with Amy Rocha of Dragonfly Paperie and Alli Freeman of AlliCat Calligraphy. They're both great wedding pros in the Philadelphia area, and I just wanted to get their thoughts on how their work can really help make your event, your wedding, really, really personal and custom.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So first, just kind of tell everybody a little bit about your companies.
So my name's Amy. I am a bespoke stationery designer. So what that means is I'm going to work with my couples directly to combine little personal aspects of your relationship, how you met, because every love story is different. And I try to bring that into all of my designs. So everything that I make is handmade and fully custom to you. So what you're getting is something that no one else in the world is going to have.
And I'm Alli. I've been doing calligraphy for about 6 years. And I focus on all the hand-lettered details. So I do envelope addressing as well as some spot calligraphy for Amy's invitations. And then I also do day of pieces for couples. So that could be signs, seating charts, and escort cards, anything to do a hand-lettered touch for their day.
So I know you guys love to collaborate together. Can you kind of tell me what that process looks like with both of your work?
I love working with Alli because it kind of just brings another element of personality into your invitation suite. So when we use spot calligraphy, it's really fun to kind of talk with our couples, find the style that's going to be best for you, and Alli can write out the headers or your names in calligraphy digitally, and that way we can just kind of incorporate that into your printed invitation suites. Another great way is collaborating on place cards, another day of stationery. If you want to talk a little bit about that, Alli.
Yeah, and the benefit of having handwritten calligraphy woven in throughout your day is that you get the consistency of using maybe a computerized font, but you have somebody handwriting it for you and it makes it unique and special. So I'll often provide digital calligraphy for Amy for the invitations. I can do the envelope addressing, and then she can design elements for day of pieces that I can handwrite as well in the same script. So you get the best of both worlds.
Why do you feel that the customization that you provide really can enhance a couple's wedding experience both before and during their wedding?
So a lot of times when I speak with my couples about their invitations, it's something that we can carry along through all of the aspects of their day. A lot of times what will happen is, we'll come up with a design that they really love and they end up incorporating those colors into their wedding day, or they'll incorporate favors that go along with the theme of the stationery. So it's a good way to kind of talk and get really creative, because it's one of the most creative parts of the wedding planning process. And especially when we're working one-on-one, you get to be a part of every step of the design process. So we can really make it fully cohesive with your entire wedding day.
I also think it's a way to make your wedding uniquely feel like you, especially with day of signs. There's a lot of generic things floating around. Everyone kind of has the same thing. And when you're wedding planning, it's really easy to get wrapped up in what's trendy and what's popular right now. But I always advise couples to choose creative pieces that really speak to them. I think when you look back on your wedding in 10, 15, 20 years, you want to still love everything and have it be representative of you, not just what was popular at the time. And so I think both Amy and I can create pieces that are actually reflective of you as a couple and the things that make you unique and not just what's popular at the time.
How does having a cohesive look between all of your different design elements kind of help enhance the experience for your guests at a wedding?
So what I always like to say is that from the moment your guests open their save the dates to the very last dance, everything should be cohesive. After being a wedding planner for 5 years, that was something I pulled into my wedding designs as well. And starting off with your stationery is a really great way to do that. So like Alli's saying about incorporating your personalities into your day of stationery, that's something that if you're working with us from the beginning and we are incorporating Alli's calligraphy into your save the dates, and then her calligraphy is showing up on their place cards when they sit down for dinner, that's just a fully seamless experience for your guests.
What are some of the most unique ways you've seen some of your couples utilize your work to have those design elements go through the day, or just to kind of really wow their guests?
Well, for my own wedding, I chose to do some family heirloom pieces. Our wedding venue was a historical venue, and so we chose to do things that were meaningful and significant from our past. And so an example is I used my grandmother's old vanity mirror as our welcome sign mirror. And I've also seen people do really creative things with their seating displays. Obviously, mirror seating charts and seating charts on acrylic are really popular, but there's also so many options to be specific to your venue or to you as a couple. So I did a beach wedding with escort cards that were on gold painted oyster shells, and the wedding was down the shore. So that was a really nice, elegant way to tie in the shore element. And I have a lot of really creative couples this year. I'm about to start working on a seating chart that is created from bread and cheese boards. It's going to be displayed on the wall because the couple are foodies and it ties into their heritage. So there's so many different ways that you can still make beautiful pieces of art that are meaningful to you and give you a really neat wow factor.
Yeah, so everything that Alli said, I completely agree with. One couple that I had, they were an Irish Catholic wedding, and they really loved the Philadelphia Eagles. When you hear Philadelphia Eagles, you don't really want to show up to a wedding that is full Philadelphia Eagles themed. So a way that we tried to incorporate that is I designed a custom Celtic knot for them that was flanked with 2 eagles on the side. So it's just kind of a little personal touch that they know about, and maybe they can tell some of their closest family members, but it's also just a beautiful piece of art that every one of their guests is going to see.
So if a couple doesn't know kind of where to start, what's really their ideal aesthetic, what are some good ways they can research, maybe some ways to make their design unique, really for them? What are some resources that they could go to?
So I work straight with my couples, and one of the first things that I do is I send them a bunch of questions. So the greatest resource is each other. I'll ask them questions about what does a typical weekend look like for you? What's your favorite memory together? And it's all kind of questions that maybe they don't talk about often, but it's fun to kind of see them interact and come up with those answers together. And even just doing that on your own is a great way to bond before your wedding day and then see what elements you can tie into your wedding day aesthetic.
Why do you think it's so important to have all of these personal touches throughout a wedding day for your couples? What really, beyond just it looks nice and it's fun, like what do you really think the impact is of your work?
So when you're looking at, different inspiration while you're wedding planning, a lot of trends will come up, and maybe one year everything is going to be burgundy and navy. I think I had 18 weddings one year where the colors were burgundy and navy. And so we try to go beyond that color palette. We try to go beyond the trends, and this is fully about you and your relationship. So we are taking your love story and turning it into a piece of art. And that's something that you will hold on to as an heirloom item for the rest of your lives, something you can pass down to your children. People think about maybe passing down a wedding gown or your veil, but your invitations are something also that can be a family heirloom piece.
I totally agree. And I think sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the fact that wedding is not just a party for all your guests. It's a celebration of you and your fiance and your love story. And to tie into what Amy was saying about heirloom pieces, when I have couples bring me things for day of pieces, I do rent things out as well, but a lot of my couples bring me things that they've chosen to have at their wedding day. So for example, they bring me a giant mirror that they want a seating chart on. I'll then explain to them after the wedding how they can wipe off the lettering, and then that becomes a piece in their home that is something small to a regular house guest. They might not realize that that's a meaningful piece, but every time you walk by that, you think of your wedding day and you have happy memories. So it really is important to incorporate things that feel like you and that will keep those memories alive for you for a long time.
What are some misconceptions couples will come to you with, that they're just not aware of with your work? Just some common misconceptions.
A lot of times I'll have couples come to me and say, can you send me your cardstock, your font options, and a few design choices? And what you're getting with custom is something that's not a template. So even my pricing is custom per couple based on what we're talking about. So the first thing we do is have a consultation, and I draw up your proposal from there. So everything is, from start to finish all about you. And I have a lot of couples coming to me looking for, what exactly am I going to get? And, when I tell them whatever you want, they, light up, and it becomes kind of a fun part of the process.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of couples come to me expecting that they can only use, for example, certain materials. They know, oh, you can write on a mirror and glass and paper. But I try to encourage my couples to also think outside the box. And I joke and I say, if you bring it to me, I can likely write on it. So I like when couples kind of use their imagination for mediums and surfaces, especially for their signage. There's just so many unique things that you can do, and you don't have to just go off of what you've seen a million times. And what Amy said is exactly right, that when you work with someone that creates custom work, it really is exactly the vision that you had come to life.
How big or small of a wedding can you both support? Do you have certain limits that you have to hit, or can you kind of work with whatever size wedding?
So that's another one of the beauties of custom and working with me and Alli. So a lot of people will come to me with, what's your minimum quantity? You can ask me for one invitation and I'll do it. I'm currently working with a bride that's eloping in Santorini, and we are making a specific keepsake invitation that she can have for photos and to keep afterwards. So we don't have minimum quantities because, at least on my end, all of the materials are purchased just for you. I create all of the artwork for you. So everything that we do is fully custom tailored, and including all of the pricing. So there's no minimum quantities on our end.
And smaller weddings often mean that you can allocate a budget towards special details. So maybe you don't need a giant seating chart, but you want to have a handwritten place card for every guest at their seat to really show your appreciation that they were there for your day. That's something that you may not be able to do for a 200-person wedding. You may not have the budget for that, but for smaller weddings, you can really tie in some special details to make your guests really feel extra loved.
If you had to say the number one reason why couples decide they would like to work with both of you, either independently or as kind of a team, what would you say is that big reason?
So one of the big things that my couples love about working with me and Alli is, again, it's that handmade touch. But what goes along with that is all of the artwork is created just for you as well. So I'll never repeat a design twice. I'll never repeat artwork twice. It's something that we work on and that will go along with your love story, something that's going to go along with your wedding. So again, it's another piece that's fully custom to you that no one else in the world is going to have. And it's the same thing when we incorporate Alli's calligraphy into the piece. No one else is going to have their names written in that way, because it's all fully custom to you.
And I just try to go out of my way to really get to know my couples. As a calligrapher, I tend to be one of the last services that are booked for a wedding day, so I don't often get to see your planning process from start to finish. I'm often not there on the wedding day to see it all come together, but I really try to get to know my couples and what they like, what they don't like design-wise, but also just about their love story. I like to know how they met and what their favorite things are, because that helps me incorporate them more into the design. So I don't want to just feel like, oh, a second thought, the last thing that you book for your wedding. I really want my couples to feel like they're becoming friends with me and that I really care about who they are as people, not just, the pieces that I'm designing for their wedding day.
And Alli, I love that you're saying the pieces you design, because something I get a lot when I'm offering the calligraphy services that you do is, well, I think that we can just use a cursive font. And doing that is completely different than what you're getting with Alli. She is working directly with you, and everything that she's creating is going to go along not only with the invitation suite, but it's going to have kind of a personal flair that's just for you.
Yes, exactly. If you want your lettering to be bigger, smaller, more bouncy, an extra squiggle here or there, like those are things that you can't necessarily just get from a computer font. I can adjust everything down to the tiniest detail.
That's amazing. Thank you both so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Amy and Alli, all of their information so you can reach out to them is going to be in the description below. Thank you for watching Say Yes to the Best. Again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. Our main goal is to help you navigate wedding planning, and thank you and happy planning.